Nimai?
Yes, sir.
I'm sending a message in the chat box. Right?
And we are live. We are live.
Hello, hi everyone. Are you able to hear me? Great. So if I share something on the screen, would you be able to see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just for a test, I'm sharing a slide. Let me know if it's visible to you all. So give me a second. Nimai, you can close your camera. Suppose if I share this one, are you able to see it? Okay, great. All right, so first I would like to congratulate you all for organizing such a great event. I am sure it's going great. Is it? Right. And it's great to see you all music enthusiasts. So how many of you are into music? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, all of you. That's great. That's great. So, and how many of you are taking it seriously? Like Sarah told me that some of you are already composing songs, writing songs, and some of you want to release your songs, or maybe you are releasing them already. So, raise your hands if somebody is that serious into it. All right. So, see, this is going to be a 1 hour session, and I'm going to share some insights. I'm really glad to, be a part of this event to share my knowledge with all of you. So, I hope it would be useful for you. So, this is going to be a 60 minutes roughly session. So, if you can let me know if there are some questions in your mind. So, if there are more than 10 or 12 people who have questions, then I would like to keep it, 30 minutes plus 30 minutes. Like I'll talk for 30 minutes and then 30 minutes you can ask your questions, right? So first of all, how many of you think that cracking the music industry is a challenging task? Cracking means, okay, so most of you think it's a challenging task. Yes, actually, let me tell you, this is what most of the people think. Because not only music industry, but the film industry, movie industry, entertainment industry, they think that, cracking this industry is really challenging. And it's kind of black magic, sort of black magic, we want to crack it. But tell me one more thing, like how many of you think that cracking an exam like IIT or IAS or, BTech entrance, that is challenging? Same case, right? So cracking your engineering entrances or medical entrances or IAS entrances, it is challenging, but people do it, right? Do you agree with me? People do it easily. I mean, people who qualify, they do it easily. And so what is the secret? Suppose if I ask you, like cracking an IAS exam is actually very tough. The seats are very limited and a huge number of people, they appear in the exam. Only few of them get selected. So what makes them different from the others? And that same thing goes for the music industry or entertainment industry. So, when your team approached me, Sana approached me, and they asked me to talk about music business, right? I'm sure all of you are aware about this fact because, I can guide you on many different things like music production, songwriting, performances, and many other things. But since I am expected to talk about music business specifically in this session, so I will stick to this part, music business, right? So music business is what we think of like really cracking the music business, and it boils down to making money out of whatever you do in music, right? Do you agree with me? Raise your hand. People think like making money, getting success, fame, right? So this is cracking the music industry. So the very word music business, this is very important, and this is something that you need to understand, that why many people fail in music business, music industry, and why some of them succeed. So the secret lies in the name itself. So right now, at this point of time, I am sharing this slide with you. So this is some of the people, like a large number of people who don't make it, they take music business as music. But some of them who achieve money, fame, and all the success in music, they actually understand that this is music business, and music business is actually very different from music, right? And one line that you can read, it's simple, but it's not easy. Can you see this arrow? Because this is a transition that you need to make. If you want to get successful in music, you want to crack the code, you have to make a transition. You have to move from music to music business. Now, it may seem very easy to say, but how to do that actually? So let me share another diagram with you all. How music business is different from music. And when I say that it's simple but not easy. Why simple? Because now answer this question. Can any one of you answer this question which I asked, that IIT or IAS, these are challenging exams, but some of them they crack it because they know the secrets, how to qualify that exam. They have that power of knowledge, they know it. Somebody has passed on to that knowledge. Let me share a very interesting story with you, a very short story. That when I was in 9th standard, I didn't like biology, and I failed my exam, the half-yearly exam. And luckily, after the half-yearlies, I found my bio teacher, which was actually in my school itself. So I, I started taking classes with him, and he was a magician. So he taught me biology in such a way so that I didn't even need to revise my notes when I was going to appear in the boards exam. And everyone in that class, they scored 98 or 97 marks minimum in biology. So that was the power of the knowledge. So he told us, many secrets, many tricks, tips, how to crack this biology subject. So do you agree with me, like if you have the knowledge and the secrets of any area, then you can make it easily? How many of you agree with me? Yes, because that is, and you can apply the same concept in whatever course you are doing or whatever you are aiming to do. So the next slide. So first of all, let me tell you one thing, but music is a little different. Music is very different from biology, and the entertainment industry is very different from academics. So over here, the main difference is about the mindset. This is actually the mindset. Like some of you have shared some questions with me, and that these are the questions you have in mind. And I keep doing workshops and people asking me the same questions. So let me tell you one thing, that the answers are not very easy because people are not ready for the answers. This is the problem, and you have to concentrate on this aspect. Because yes, I can give you the answer or anyone else can give you an answer, but if you are not ready for the answers, then it's of no use. I will explain it. What do I mean by that? Because it's all the mindset game. So the first thing, if you want to crack in the entertainment industry or music industry, you need to change the mindset from the music to the music business. Now, I'm sharing another slide and I'll make it clear for you. What do I mean by that? So look at the next slide. And this is how Now you can see it's all about the mindset. This is music and music business. This is on the left hand side, people how they think. This is on the left hand side, and people in the music business who are successful, how do they, these are just the examples. This is the vocabulary that you have. So let's do an exercise, everyone, before you go through this list. Let's do an exercise. All of you have to read the left hand side and you have to read the right hand side, and you have to tell me honestly how many of you relate with the left hand side, how many of you are thinking like the left one, and how many of you are thinking as the right one. Okay, ready? So I'm sharing it and let me know what do you think. So people in the left hand side who don't understand music business, they think like if they are singers, they think sing from your heart. This is just an example. This is their vocabulary. Sing from your heart. When you sing a song, dil se gao. On the other hand, the people who understand music business, they try to find out कि कैसे actually गाया जाता है. So sing from your diaphragm. This is the technique. This is the real thing. Because ask yourself, दिल से कौन गाता है? कभी आपने कभी किसी के दिल को गाते हो सुना है? Right? So दिल को कभी गाते नहीं सुना आपने, right? So you don't sing from your heart. You sing from your diaphragm. That's a very technical thing. And second thing, like sing louder with energy. If you are on stage, like जोर से गाओ. बहुत से mentors भी यही बोलते हैं. But people who understand music business, they understand that sing powerfully doesn't mean sing loudly. So you have to work on your resonance and many other things. Like I can tell you so many things. We don't have that much time, but in singing, I can do a like totally different workshop in which I can talk about what are the things that you should work on if you want to become a great singer. That nothing has to do with singing from your heart or singing louder. So these are just the examples, okay? Then if you are in a band, if you're a musician, you say the vocabulary of the left side is form a band and release a song. But it doesn't work like that. I'm sure some of you understand that. So people on the right side will say, okay, let's produce a song and release, right? Produce music and release a song. There is a great difference between just forming a band and releasing a song and producing a song, right? And then people on the left side will say, let's do some cover versions. Chalo, aaj cover version dal dete. YouTube, you must have seen the cover versions, so many cover versions. But these people are not artists. They are not making money and they are not getting as successful as the real artists. People on the right hand will say, let's make original songs. Let's release an EP. Let's release an LP. People on the left hand side get a DAW and release music. DAW, I'm sure all of you know it. So digital audio workstation software which makes music, and so get a DAW and release music. On the other hand side, on the right hand side, hire a studio, use a DAW, real musicians, let's really work on it, produce it, and then release it. Now, if you have your music ready, you will say that nepotism is killing the music. This is the vocabulary of the left hand side. On the other hand, the people will say, let's find out a mentor who has actually done it. And that is not nepotism. So now the next point, next example, buying views takes you nowhere. The people will say on the left side, and on the other hand, people who understand the business part, they will say, let's do some promotion. Because music business is essentially business. How many of you agree with that? When we say music business, it is business. It doesn't have to do anything with the art. Actually, that's a little sad. But if you want to really make it in the business, then you have to think like a businessman. So it is just like launching a product and creating a product professionally. So trying to get to know how to make it, how to make the systems, how to sell it, how to market it, and then how to make profits in the longer runs. Right? So these are just the examples. So this is the mindset, which is actually the main reason. So if you maintain this kind of mindset, which is given on the left-hand side, it will be very difficult for you to make it in the music business. Right? Now, I will further, let's explore it further. So how this thing works and how the mindset works. And if you have any questions or doubt, meanwhile, you can ask me if there's any important question you want to ask. So now let's see. Look at the scenario. Like when you release a song, when you're trying to release a song, this is the mindset which is going on. Can you see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
And how many of you can relate with this? If you have done this, or if you're planning to do, or if you talk to some other people. So this is the normal scenario. So at first you see, okay, everyone's going to love my song. I'm going to do a song and I'm going to release on Spotify. Spotify is there, YouTube is there, and several other platforms are there. And then, after some time you find out that it didn't work out. And then you become sad and you become disappointed, and then you acquire that mindset, that left side mindset that, okay, what the hell, music business doesn't work, right? So do you agree with me? Like, this is what happens to most of the people who are trying it in the music business these days because of the platforms, the Spotify and all. Most of the people find that they don't pay well, whatever platform is there. So how you have to deal with this mindset? How do you have to change this mindset? So I'm going to share another diagram with you. When it comes to music business, you have to understand one thing, how the business part of music works. So there are different layers of musicians. And now you have to pay attention and concentrate on whatever I'm saying, because this is very important piece of information. And this is an industry thing. Everyone in the industry knows it. So there are 4 types of musicians, and you have to find out that where exactly are you in this. There are different zones. So the first one is an amateur one, and we can call it musician mini. And then comes the independent artist. We can call it musician regular. And then comes the indie, who is a musician pro. And then comes the major. You can say musician pro max. So now there is a difference between all these zones. These are different zones, and this is one type of musician, this is another type of musician. So of course, the major artists are those whom you see, who get signed by the labels. So can anyone tell me, like, how many of you are familiar with the terms indie and major? Because these two technical terms, okay, so right, so I can see some of hands raised. Yes, good. So the main difference between a major is, because a major is really different, you can see like he's the happiest. So and all the artists that you see on MTV and major artists on the charts and who sell albums, CDs, they belong to this major category because they are signed by the record labels, and this is where all the artists want to make it. So this is the ultimate dream for everyone, for all musicians, to get signed by a major record label. But now coming on to the next thing, and it will make it clear, this concept. Now you have to see how these zones are different and what are the mindsets. Now this is very important for you to understand that the mindsets are different. People on the left side, actually, they most of the time they cannot make in the music business. They cannot make money. Usually they don't make money. They don't get to where they want to get. And so amateur is the first zone. And independent is who is making music in his home studio and then releasing it on YouTube and Spotify. This is independent musician. And on the right hand side, these two zones, the people who are in these two zones, they actually make money and they are actually successful, and they can say that yes, they are So the definition of music business is different from them. So they find it that they are successful. They find music business working for them. And on the other hand, the amateur and independent ones, they are not as successful as the right hand side zones. And you can see it's easier to make a move from indie to major, but it's almost impossible to make a move from an amateur or from an independent to a major or indie because of the mindset. So if you don't change the mindset, if you don't learn the habits, if you don't learn the mindset, how they think, how they act, and if you don't find the secrets, what these guys do use, indie and major, then it would be almost impossible. So I'm not saying it's not possible for them to move from here to here, but I'm saying if they don't work on their business aspect, if they don't understand the rules, then it would be really tough, really challenging for them. So, but actually, what happens due to the lack of guidance, due to the lack of that knowledge, those tricks, normally they cannot make it to the right hand side, and then they start complaining, and that's where that mindset emerges that okay, music business doesn't work, it doesn't pay, and it's not as good as other careers. So, and then they start complaining. Then they say nepotism is bad, and then they say buying views is bad. All sort of complaining that becomes a part of their thinking, which make things even worse. So now, moving on to the next slide, I will show you what is their mindset, how the mindset works in the thinking process, so that you can easily understand. So now this is the next slide, and you can see how they think. The amateur one, normally these guys, they don't have anything ready. Normally, most of the time, they don't even have songs ready. But yes, I mean, they want to make it in the music business, but their thinking is, okay, I'm going to make a kick-ass song someday and kill a video and release it on Spotify, YouTube, and I will become a super hit artist and I'll be a star, I'll become a millionaire. This is their thinking. And they actually, this person doesn't know music that well, and they're also totally clueless about the business part. So this is actually strictly, you don't want to be there in this zone. This is a very risky zone. So even if you're not making any song, even if you are making, just half songs, bits and pieces, but still try to refrain from this mindset. Because this mindset doesn't work at all. You need to get educated. You need to, educate yourself. And then comes the independent part. The second part, this guy, knows music, but he's totally clueless about the business part. He is good at music, so he can, make the songs. And most of these guys, they know the DAWs, how the DAWs work. They know the mixing and mastering, and they do all sorts of things. And they also release music, they put out the music. But what happens is they don't know the business aspect, they don't know the rules in business. They start having this complaining mindset that music business sucks, only rich and privileged ones can make it, and nepotism is killing the industry, there is no money in music business. So this is a complaining mindset that they develop. So this guy is clueless, the above one, and this guy is, he's working very hard, but he's actually not making it. So, and the third part, the indies are those who are signed by smaller labels. So indies are mainly those who are signed by smaller labels, not the major labels, but the smaller labels. Some of you might have heard about artists like Jack Johnson. How many of you have heard about Jack Johnson? And so many other artists, all of them, they start with indie. So indie musicians, they are signed by smaller labels, and then they start making the career in music business. They start working on the craft, and then they start selling their music. So this is their mindset. And music business works for me, and it's promising. And I'm making lots of money out of it. and he knows how the business systems are created, and he makes systems work to create income. So he understands the business part, how the music business works and how the systems are created, and then he uses that system to create money. So that way he is successful. And then comes the major part. These guys are signed by the major labels, and then his mindset is totally different, because you can see knows how to sell business systems. They can even sell the business systems, and he knows how to protect the systems for continued income flow. So the big guys in the music industry, sadly, Indian music industry doesn't have exactly this major platform. Yes, but in partially you can say. But abroad, Western music industry is really good in that sense, that because all the major artists are really killing it. Like take examples of Rihanna. She's the first woman billionaire in the world, and she has made it all with her music. So she knows how to, there are other smart people like Taylor Swift is very smart. She is handling her career quite well, and many other artists. You must have heard about Jay-Z and all. So these guys are like really major artists who have a continued income flow because of their systems. They know how the systems are created and how to sell the systems. So now, at this point of time, do you have any question, or how many of you agree with me? Does it resonate with you? What do you think? And if you have any question, if you want to say something, you can type in the chat box, or you can ask me. All right. So moving on to the next thing. So this is what makes them different from each other. So this Pro and Pro Max, the indie and majors, they know the secrets, that how the mindset works, the way they think. So there could be many things like A, B, C, D, E. There could be many things which you can learn, like how to think in terms of business. And then the habits. So mindset, I gave you some examples in the very first slide. Those were the examples of the mindset. So if you think that, as a singer or band, if you think that you can gather a band and then release a song and make a video and then become a star, that's mindset is different. So on the other hand, if you work on your craft and if you produce it properly, if you know the tricks, if you know the secrets, then of course you can make it. It becomes easier for you. Just like you crack the IAS exam or IIT exam, because again, वो exams भी बहुत tough होते हैं. But tough नहीं है, challenging है. If you know the secrets, then you can crack it easily. So then comes the habits part, the way they act. So there are certain habits. So and all of you know it. If you want to make it really big in the music industry or in any industry, you have to work hard, you have to make connections, you have to network with the right kind of people, and you have to create a presence in the industry. And third thing is, normally they have the mentors who have already been there and done that. This is something I mentioned before also, because sometimes, most of the time people seek guidance from people who haven't done it themselves. So this is one riskier part, which is very important in the music business or entertainment business. And now, so now you have to understand this very important fact. In the entertainment industry, it's a jungle out there. So you have to find out the bullseye and hit it. This is a bullseye. In every field, there is a bullseye. So if you want to do music, these are different areas in which you have to find out the bullseye. Professional singing, how professional singing is done. Like, this is really different from normal singing. and performance. If you are a guitarist, if you are a drummer, so the performance. So there are secrets of performances which are essential for pro musicians. Then how do you? Then the second part is very important. Do you have a professional identity for yourself as an artist? I would say the uniqueness, right? What is the uniqueness? What makes you really different from the crowd? So this is where you have to start working. So again, it's a simple thing. It's not that tough, but people don't work on this. And that's why, they keep hitting the wrong places in the bullseye. Look at this diagram. Most of the people are hitting here, here, here for years and decades. And then they start complaining because they are not hitting the bullseye. And you have to understand what's a bullseye. Bullseye is the shortest way out. So if you want to come out of the mini and regular zones, if you want to hit the pro zones, then you have to hit the bullseye. Bullseye is the shortest way to do something. So you want to become a great singer. Do you know the shortest way to have a professional voice? You want to become a pro artist, pro band. You have to find out the shortest way. How do you zero in on your uniqueness? What is your uniqueness? You want to become a pro songwriter, pro composition, a pro composer, and you have to find out the shortest way how to do that, because there could be a longer way. There are longer. It's a jungle out there, so you can get lost for years and decades. And I don't know if you know that I've been running a music academy for 19 years. And my students are MTV artists, industry professionals, right? They work with Vishal Shekhar and Pritam and Coldplay. So in India and abroad, so all types of artists. And why I'm telling you this, because there are so many artists, like hundreds and thousands of them who want to do it, but they are hitting at the wrong places. They are not hitting at the bullseye. This is where the problem lies. Because all the time they are listening to people who haven't made in the music industry, right? Sometimes they listen from their parents. The parents say that okay, it's not going to work. Become a doctor, become an engineer. ये तो इसमें कुछ नहीं रखा है. So they listen to them. जिन्होंने खुद नहीं उसको किया है, टीचर से पूछते हैं, वो भी उनको मना करते हैं. म्यूजिक टीचर से पूछते हैं, उन्होंने भी वो नहीं किया हुआ है. म्यूजिक टीचर इज नॉट अ म्यूजिशियन, ही इज नॉट अ प्रो आर्टिस्ट. फिर वो उनसे राय लेते हैं, उनसे एडवाइस लेते हैं. सो फिर क्या होता है कि देन दे गेट लॉस्ट इन दिस जंगल फॉरएवर, because they don't know the shortest way to do it. And people who are doing it, who are killing it, just like the people who are cracking the IAS or IIT, there are 20 seats in IAS, and it's easy to crack if you know the secrets. So, and there are countless examples. I can give you countless examples. Again, I'm giving you my own example story, that I was not interested in academics and studies, but still my father is a retired civil servant and he cracked the civil services. And when I was very young, I was I think 3 or 4 years old, and he wanted me to become an IAS officer. So when I was in 10th, he took my studies very seriously. So he told me many secrets of the toppers that the toppers use. And you won't believe that I secured, despite being a very average student, I secured 11th rank in my boards. And so that was the magic. And I gave you the example of my bio teacher. So this is the magic of the secrets. Like if you know the tools, if you know the way, the shortest way, you can easily hit it. And that becomes very easy. Somebody who has cracked the IIT or IAS or these exams, he will tell you that it was easy. And the other people, they will keep complaining. Okay, इतने सारे लोग बैठते हैं, millions of people are appearing in the exam was very tough, this and that. I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the money. So they have all kinds of complaints. But somebody who has actually cracked it, he will tell you that it was a piece of cake, a smooth ride. So the biggest problem is that you're all the time you're listening to the people who haven't actually made it. So be it your family, friends. So that's why you need to be careful. So if you change your mindset, if you learn the secrets, if you learn the tricks, then things are actually smoother for you. How many of you agree with this concept? Right. So Moving on to the next thing, and that's why you will agree with me that in most of the areas, um, like actors whose parents are actors, or the families, or the musicians, they become successful musicians, they become successful actors. And why? Because people say it's nepotism, but it's not nepotism. Because right from the start, the children, they learn the secrets from their parents or from their family members. So this is why, they are able to do it better. They understand the business part of it. They also understand the secrets. They also understand the tricks, how this thing works, and then it actually starts working. So that's why nepotism, yes, it's bad if it affects somebody else's progress, but it's not bad if somebody is successful. Think of any actor whom you like, and whose parents are in the film industry. So this guy is talented, and he knows the tricks because when he was very young, he was facing the camera, and he was experiencing all sorts of that kind of life which his parents lived. So that's why it becomes very easy for them. So you have to understand that people who are successful in the music business, the family and friends are working as mentors, you can say. It smells like nepotism, but it's not exactly nepotism. It's actually they know the secrets, they know the shortest way to crack that. So So these are the family members and friends who are already in the industry. They are working as mentors for them, who are actually passing out the tricks of the trade, and because they have already been there and done that. So start finding the shortest. The bullseye is the shortest way out, and the shortest way to find the bullseye is to find out someone from the pro or pro max zones who have already done that thing for you and who can guide you. And then, of course, if you know the shortest way, you can easily crack it. And now coming on to the music part, even I was fortunate having some mentors who were really great. I mean, I had, when I was very young, so people who were already successful in the music industry, some of them were in the labels, and I was very fortunate to have them as my mentors and guides. So they guided me, and then, I started making music. I made my demo and then the albums, and finally it was signed by Times and Universal and MTV. So otherwise, it always seemed very difficult to me. So now, so that's the end of this session from my side. If you have any question, if you have any doubt, let me know. You can send it in the chat box, or if directly, if possible. Yes.
So there's one question by Aravind that
Right.
how would we approach a label for the first time after we've completed doing our project, be it a single EP or an album?
Yes. So it was from Arav, right?
Aravind.
Yes, Arav, it was a good question, and I'm sharing the whiteboard, and you need to understand one thing again. So you are talking about the majors and the producers or movie producers or film producers. So what happens? These guys are actually, again, it comes to the mindset and to the right knowledge. If you have the knowledge, so if you pitch your project just like a person who was on the left hand side, are you getting it? So if you pitch it from that mindset, then they are going to turn it down because they are in the right hand side. So what they are going to do, the business part works like, if you have made a song and if you approach the majors, what they will see that all of you are aware about the startups, right? How the startups work. It's the same thing. The music business, entertainment is the same thing. You have an idea and you have worked on that. So you have a product or service in place. Maybe you have an app or a product. And then if you approach an investor, so the investor will be ready to invest in your project only if you can show him the statistics, if you can show him the data. So what will happen? See, I can tell you that this is how you can approach them. You can send them emails. You can even meet them. When I was young, I was 16 and I recorded the demo, and I actually met the real producers. I actually went to the offices, and because there was no internet back then, so I approached them personally, but they all turned me down because I didn't know the rules. I didn't know the secrets, how the system works. So of course you can approach them, and you can even find out a common friend and you can approach them, but they are going to turn it down because you are not thinking like a pro person who is on the right hand side, right? So it's just like approaching an investor. He will say like, can you show me the profits? So this guy will only approve your project, the producer, if you have a great following and if you are already selling your products. You have to have a following and you have to be sellable. So this is something that you have to understand. It's not difficult, but you are not working in the right direction. So if you want to approach those guys, the producers, so first you have to start working on this aspect, to make your music and create the systems, start selling your music. And because it's just like any startup, you must be knowing about the YouTube story and all other stories like YouTube, when they launched it, it became successful, it started making money, then Google bought it. It's the same thing which happens in the music industry. So when the industry, observes that you are selling music, you have a following, then they start, taking you seriously. And if you pitch at the right moment, then they will sign you up. So this is how it works. So is there any further question on this one? Because it's okay, you can approach, but they are going to turn it down unless you are not working in the right direction. If you can show them the stats that, okay, this is where I stand, I'm already sellable and I've got followers, then of course, then if you approach anyone, they will be happy to produce you.
So there was another question from before is when you write songs, what is your workflow?
Right. So most of the time when I work on a song, I write the song first. First I write the song and I do it with my guitar most of the time and sometimes piano because I can play both the instruments. And then I come up with the words, the ideas. Sometimes the ideas occur simultaneously, music and ideas. Sometimes the ideas come first, the words, the lyrics. And then I make the music on my guitar almost simultaneously. And sometimes it works the other way around. Like sometimes I start with music, a melody, and then I write lyrics over it. So both ways it's correct, like it's good. And then, once I'm happy with the song, once I make all parts of the song, then I go to the studio and then I work on that track. I do the arrangement because I do the arrangement of the songs, most of the songs myself. And then I hand it out to the musicians. So they play it on their guitar and piano and drums and stuff. And then we record it in the studio and then we mix it. And for working on a song when I'm in my home studio, mostly I use FL Studio. You must be knowing about this DAW. So on FL Studio, I do all my work at home and then I take it to the studio. So would you like to ask something else regarding the workflow?
I don't think there are any more questions for now. So.
Okay. All right. Whatever we discussed in the session, if there's any question regarding to that, and some of you might not be agree with some of the things, so you can like feel free to discuss it.
Okay, so I don't think, sir, there are any more questions. If the questions come up, I will send them across to you and like we can. So there is another question actually, it just came up now. It's how to make a career in film music.
Right. See, film music in India is just like doing the major music thing. So it's the same thing that it would be better if you start, working on your art, learn the tricks of the trade. That this is how I make effective songs, because sometimes you think that your song is good, but the other's opinion might differ. So you can take opinion from, make some industry friends, and then seek their opinion and improve your craft. First of all, this is the first thing, because your source has to be good. And then once you feel this is good, start networking with people. This is also very important. So let me tell you, like, this is when I started out. I actually didn't have any money and the resources and no connections, because I told you my background was all academics background. So that was very challenging. But gradually, I made friends in the industry, and then I started working on my craft. So gradually things started holding. I would say the film music, create a following and make your music little. So, when you see the film music or major music, you see the thing. You don't see the background, how that thing came into existence. You don't see the struggle, and you don't see the hard work for years. So you just see the result firsthand. So all these guys like Shankar Ehsaan Loy, Pritam, all these guys, film music producers, they have been working for years. Like, let me tell you, Shankar Ehsaan Loy, when they came up with the first movie, before that movie, they were actually working in the industry for around like 20 years. And all their like cousins and all, and we know each other, like they are guitarists or they are band members. Somebody is a pianist. His brother-in-law, he was in a band, and he was a great guitarist. Everybody knows him in the industry. Ehsaan was playing guitar for quite long, like around 15 years. Then he got this thing. So because everyone in the industry, they knew them. So all these guys, Amit Trivedi and all, everyone. So when I was recording my first album, Amit Trivedi used to come to the studio, that same studio. And he was very frequent with the studio. And then he told me that he had been working for several albums. So I think for 10 years or so. So he made all those albums. He made a name in the industry. So that's how it works. So you have to start working, don't wait. So start working, and then start networking. Then people get to know about you. They know that you are talented. So it doesn't work like a formula. Whatever I told you is not like 2 + 2 = 4, because everyone can have their own story. So because there is a little bit of luck also which works. So yes, luck might also work for you. But yes, this is important. The route, the right direction is very important. So all of you, like, if you are serious about music, I would like to say that you must have heard that song. So, kuch paane ki ho aas aas, koi arma ho jo khas khas. That's a very important song. So you have to be hopeful and you have to be faithful, first of all. So why I criticize the complaining mindset? Because it learns certain things. So it's not difficult. The main part is, like, if you love music, then even if you work for 8 hours, 10 hours, it's not work. So you enjoy that work, right? So, and yes, one important thing is, which I mean, and if you're working on DAWs, then it's great, but start learning more. Like if you know 2-3 DAWs, then it will help you, because in the studios, people work on different DAWs, Pro Tools and Logic and this and that, FL Studio, Ableton Live, Cubase, there are so many. At least learn 2-3 of them. and start working on a live music. So there are many other things, but the idea is it might seem like a lot of work to you, but it's not. So it's just a matter of like already has my contacts on anurag.musicology@gmail.com. So I hope it was useful for you all. It was great talking to you all, and hope to see you sometime in person. And I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Thank you, Sana.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you, sir.